Ladies and gentlemen, this is Gail Morgan welcoming you to the Libertarian Counterpoint's Knuckleheads of Liberty podcast. You've heard their point, now listen to the counterpoint.
Welcome to the Knuckleheads of Liberty podcast. We are coming at you on May 19th, 2021. All kinds of interesting stuff to talk about. But before we get into any of that, let me introduce you to our panel. In our upper left-hand corner, we have Leon, the word Brathwaite. Last word in Liberty. He is a retired engineer in the state of California. And in our upper right-hand corner, we have our screaming eagle of freedom, Tim Everett. He is a pilot in the state of California. My name is Jason McPhee, and I will be your host today. So let's jump right into the topics. We just got done with the show focused on Biden. Now let's focus on some of the woke stuff going on out there, which usually includes Biden, but this time, I guess, well, luckily it doesn't. So there you go. But the Golden Globes. So the Golden Globes, you know, I guess it to me, this is the best thing I've heard about some of these shows. They sort of self-canceled themselves. Apparently, they couldn't get themselves in line to be woke enough to be ready for their woke standards for I think it's for 2022. And
2022. Yes.
They've literally canceled the 2022 show because they felt like they weren't woke enough in 2021. They didn't think they could be woke enough in 2022. So they just canceled themselves until 2023 when they're going to try and live up to their woke standards. And yeah, I guess even Tom Cruise, I guess in a sort of like the tantrum he threw jumping up and down on Oprah Winfrey's couch, he sent those Golden Globes that he won prior back to, he said, I don't need these anymore because we're just not woke enough. So I don't know. It's kind of crazy stuff. What do you guys think? I mean, this is kind of crazy stuff.
Well, I thought it was NBC that canceled them.
Yes, NBC canceled the show.
Well, it was the Hollywood, gosh, what do they call the? Let me see if I can find the.
Hollywood is not. NBC is not going to show the show.
It's the Hollywood Foreign Press Association is the problem. They felt like they were not woke enough. They weren't meeting their standards of diversity, right, which they've been trying for. And so with the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. And so they decided that, we can't meet these standards. So I guess we're not going to do it. But were these self-imposed standards, though, by the Golden Globes, like with the Oscars, or were these standards being imposed by NBC? Because I got the impression that these were more self-imposed standards that they just weren't.
It's self-imposed. Yeah. And NBC decided to cancel the show because, whatever standards they have.
So in a way, they canceled themselves. I mean, they set these woke standards that they can't meet.
Yeah. Well, it may go to show that, or may not, I don't know, but if they can't get the best person for the job that also happens to be in the correct skin color and sex and so on, I guess I'll have to get the number 2, number 3 person to join their press corps or whatever it is. So maybe they're facing the same kinds of restrictions that everyone else faces, and that is that if you are hiring people to be doing a job for you, you generally just want to get the best person for the job. And if that person happens to be your center on your basketball team, and he happens to be 7 feet tall and black, then that's the person you get for the job. But if it's some executive or some managerial type, and it happens to be a white guy or an Asian guy or whatever, and that's the best person, and generally you hire them. And if you end up not woke enough, that means you're going to have to plumb the depths and go down a rung or two until you find somebody that makes the quota. And that's I guess what they're running up against. Unless, I cannot fathom that this whoever these people are, that they would have a really great black woman, the best, but oh my gosh, she's a black woman. I don't want to hire her because I don't like black women, right? So we're not going to hire her. We're going to go down to get the white guy, and we're going to hire him. He's not as good as the black woman, but we're going to hire him because we are prejudiced and biased against black women. So therefore, we are going to cut our own throats and hire the less capable manager, whatever. And that's, you know, do people really think that's what's going on here?
You know, I said it before and I'll say it again. These people, these clowns are woke. They are a damn joke. And they're going to leave themselves broke. Obviously, eventually.
Yeah.
You know what's happening here? This is societal self-cannibalism. That's what's going on. They're going to eat themselves and eat their young in their wokeness. They're trying to wake us up to this new utopia where everybody's equal and everything is so nice and wonderful. We're going to have every equality among every ethnic group and every racial group. We're going to have equality, but they're going to eat themselves in the process. And I'll enjoy it. I hope they don't eat me in the process, but I will enjoy it while they eat themselves. I really would.
Well, you know what's funny is in 2020, I think one of the most exciting Golden Globes was when they had Ricky Gervais was the host there. And he roasted the stars for their wokeness. And that's what got everybody started watching the show. Not really during the show, but after the show, because they all wanted to see what Ricky Gervais said.
I watched it as a result.
Yes, I did too. And you know, one of the funnier lines he had was he said to the audience, "You say you're woke, but the companies you work for are unbelievable. Apple, Amazon, Disney. If ISIS, that's the terrorist organization, if ISIS started a streaming service, you'd call your agent, wouldn't you?" I mean, you know, this is the type of stuff he did nonstop for that whole 2020 show, and it was great. And these guys, their cue with that is, well, we've got to just double down on our wokeness, not take ourselves lightly. We got to dive in full speed ahead. So I don't know. I guess, you know, these are the guys who they'd be like the guys navigating the Titanic, you know, and they see the iceberg coming, and it's not, oh, we have plenty of time to turn. It's no, full speed ahead.
Full speed ahead. Yeah. What iceberg are you speaking about? Yeah, what iceberg are you speaking about? Full speed ahead. Let's go. Let's keep going.
Yeah, it's sunk them for 2022. They're sunk.
But you know, the whole idea is these people are going to finally eat themselves because they always implode. There's too much nonsense going on. They're educating us with their crap and their filth, but people are beginning to reject this thing. And I hope it continues. I really do.
Yeah, well, you know, apparently the BLM is not the only woke issue we have going on. So I guess the Olympics are taking a different cue than BLM. I mean, not BLM, but than the Golden Globes. And they're trying to head off some of the wokeness. And so, you know, clearly the Olympics has been a stage in the past for protests. But I think after this last year of watching, you know, these cities burn down in the United States and, you know, during BLM inspired riots and protests, you know, peaceful protests resulted in burning and looting.
Mostly peaceful protests, Jason.
Yes, mostly peaceful protests. So yes, just so we don't get banned here. But the Olympics then has decided that they don't want to see any of this type of protesting going on their stage. And so they've actually said that they are banning BLM apparel. They don't want to see that there at the games. And so, you know, this is something that the Olympics has decided to do. It's a national stage, and it does kind of make you wonder why we would think that something that's peculiar to the United States, you know, protests would take center stage, you know, with issues to George Floyd and such. But I don't know. You guys have any thoughts on this?
Well,
I don't know.
Oh.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to give Leon the last word. Yeah, just good for them. Yeah, it's actually, you said national stage, and I think I know what you mean, but it's an international stage too.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Yes.
And so, you know, why pander to these Americans in a venue that is nationality neutral, or should be, and I think they're trying to do that, is just make it neutral, and you know, and you know, they're probably worried about ratings too, and frankly, I don't watch television, so I don't know, but I would be sick to death by now of all these, you know, this political, everything's politicized. And so, you know, for example, a Facebook friend that is, you know, too political for me, I can just unfollow them and remain friends, but I don't see their stuff, right? And so, but when I'm watching the Olympics and somebody wears a Black Lives Matter t-shirt to the podium or whatever it might be, you know, if I were watching it, I would not be able to cancel that. But a lot of people are, you know, cancellation works two ways. And one of the ways is you just don't watch it. You know, you just turn it off. Yeah. Oh, I could cancel it. And how do I cancel it? Shut off the television. And I think, you know, probably the Olympics is more than a little bit concerned that politicization, you know, politicization. Okay.
Are you interviewing for a spot in the Biden administration?
Yeah, I think so.
How did you know? I'm always up for negotiations.
Sorry, I didn't want to get too political there.
Yeah. But you know the whole thing about no, by the way, Tim, are you finished? Right? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, more than done.
But but you know the whole thing about sports and politics is becoming such a big issue. You know, we have these idiots like LeBron James and Colin Kaepernick making you know Kaepernick taking the knee and LeBron James making threats against police officers for doing their jobs. Sports and politics are becoming so intertwined. It's really becoming quite ridiculous. Sports was a place that we would use to get an escape from reality for a little while, but even that is becoming a problem for us. But politics at the Olympics is nothing new. It's nothing new. In 1936, we had the old issue about the Berlin Olympics with the Nazi symbol and all that. In 1968 in Mexico, we had two Black Americans raise their fists in support of the Black Power movement and I guess the civil rights movement which was raging at the time. So it is nothing new. But the International Olympic Committee is a private organization, and they have every right to set the rules. And the BLM, Black Lives Matter, no one elected them. They are not a spokesman for me or for other Black Americans. They are a spokesman maybe for some Black Americans, but certainly not for me or for other Black Americans. So I do not want them representing me or other Black Americans internationally. So if the International Olympic Committee said they do not want their apparel and their other symbols and everything on display, I am totally fine with that. Yeah. Okay? Because they should set the rules that they see appropriate to run their games, which are sports, which we all love to watch without all the political inferences and interference that comes from these people, from these woke jackasses. Oh God, could I say that word? I'm sorry.
I think that's okay. Okay. That means a donkey.
A donkey from these woke donkeys, yes. Yes. Who may be Democrats too.
That's why they took that symbol. Well.
There you go. So I'm fine with the rule, and I think it should go forward as planned. During the 68 during the '68 Olympics when we had these two Black Americans. It was Smith and John Carlos and Tommy Smith. When they did that, sure, many of us saw it and we thought it was a great thing. But the Olympic Committee took action against them. It was their right, because this is not the revenue for their protests. It was a good place for them to do it, but it was not a good place for the Olympic Committee, and they took action against them. But this is what they're a private organization. They should be able to set their rules.
Yeah, and this isn't just this isn't a complete ban, by the way. This is just a ban during certain parts of the game. So it's not like they're telling people, hey, if you have a T-shirt with a message on it, you can't wear it anywhere in the Olympic Village or anything. It's just, during the parts of the show that we're going to, feature, like the award ceremony and other things like that.
Exactly.
We don't want to make that hijacked by some other cause. This is, it's funny too, because the Olympics was supposed to be a way that we could actually get beyond politics, that we could reach out and see the humanity from country to country, that we're all people, and we all have this commonality to strive for greatness. And the idea that we would hijack that with other causes seems it's almost like we're missing the main point of the Olympics is the celebration of our humanity, not some tit for tat between countries or other issues like that. I mean, this is a celebration of the better parts of our striving for greatness. So.
Indeed. And this is where the brotherhood and sisterhood of man should transcend borders. Okay, this is one place where it should be, but still somebody gonna come with some nonsense. But hey, I'm fine with the rule.
Yeah. Well, moving on to other things that striving for great heights. Bitcoin is also kind of in the news a lot lately, along with other cryptos as well. But apparently, it almost seems like Elon Musk, giveth, Elon Musk taketh. He says something wonderful about it, it shoots up. He says something, not so wonderful about it, and suddenly it's down. And so I want to share with you a screenshot of. Let me see here if I can pull this up. Okay. And so this is a screenshot, or actually a web page tracking the price of Bitcoin. Can you guys see the prices?
Yep. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's been kind of a wild ride for the last decade or so, I guess. But certainly it's been pretty crazy this last year during lockdowns, when everybody's been investing, trying to find ways to kill time, I guess, and invest in one thing or another. But it's funny because this particular chart shows about a year in the life of Bitcoin, roughly. And near the beginning of the year, or about a year ago, it was around 9,000. And right around the beginning of the pandemic, I guess it was around 6,000. So, missed opportunities.
Yeah.
But as far as things go, though, we recently have had a lot of, I guess, turbulence, you might say, Tim, in the Bitcoin heights. And, it's funny, Bitcoin took a huge rise, and I can't quite remember where that was. Maybe it was somewhere around here, that Elon Musk had said that he was going to start allowing people to buy cars with Bitcoin, and the fact that Tesla itself had made a big investment in Bitcoin. And when that was made public, people just suddenly that was a signal to go, and the price just sort of shot up quite a bit. But now, recently on the back end of things, Elon Musk recently came out on concerns of climate change that people are having, and the fact that Bitcoin is a crypto that has a lot of energy intensity to running it, and it has to do with the mining operations on it. But this particular issue has caused him to say, well, these cars we're selling, Teslas, are supposed to be saving the planet and carbon friendly, but yet this Bitcoin that we're saying we're kind of starting to associate it with, it does not appear to be carbon friendly because it has a big energy cost. And after he said that, boy, it really started to come down. And so it was at a height of about 60,000, and now we're down to just below 40,000 today. And that was over the space of about, a week or two now it's been.
Yeah.
So this is, quite interesting. So, but certainly an interesting topic for libertarians, which is why I brought it up, the idea of anything that's an alternative to the dollar or fiat currencies. So you guys have any thoughts on this?
My first thing, a couple of things. I mean, it was back when he accepted Bitcoin as a payment. It was, a good thing for cryptocurrency, because that's, typically one of the main things. Instead of just treating it like some investment, investment trend of the day, actually being used for exchange, which is, the original intent was for it to be used in exchange. And so that was good for it. I can see that. So it's found out as if it took him, half a year to figure it out that, oh gosh, this is expensive. From an energy standpoint, which happens to be the same type of energy, electrical energy, that his products also utilize.
Tell me this, yes.
So if electrical energy costs go up, then his product itself looks less attractive to a customer, because it's then no longer as good of a competition against the gasoline alternative. So I could see a little self-serving going on here, but at the same time, if it's that much of a energy user, and there's alternatives, I guess there's another crypto out there that he recommends now. Fine.
Dogecoin.
Yeah. There you go. So go ahead. I don't know. All right, Leon, what's up?
I mean, these guys are just a bunch of hypocrites, okay? I'm sorry. That's what they are. A bunch of hypocrites. A bunch of woke hypocrites. For one thing, look at the energy usage that he just raised him. So what? Elon Musk cars are using energy, and I'm sure some of it is fossil fuels.
You mean those batteries? Those batteries mined by the little 10-year-olds in Africa? Batteries?
Yeah, of course, of course. Yes.
Yeah.
And you wanna tell me now you're concerned about the energy uses in mining Bitcoins? And you producing a bunch of cars and that kind of stuff. What about the mining for the material that go into your cars? Does that bother you? But you know what this is all about? You see, all these cryptos, all of the cryptos, they are challenging government authority and corporate power. And you're going to see a lot of people objecting to the use of these cryptos, because, the central planners are losing control. And if the central planners are losing control because of these new transaction tools that we have available to us, they're gonna find ways to get in there, either destroy them or regulate them. That's what they're gonna do. It's coming. Believe me. Trust me, it is. They're gonna try to discredit all of these coins, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Doji, whether it's XRP, whichever one of these coins you want to talk about. They're gonna try to destroy it, because the central planners cannot control it. Look at right now, our federal government, they're printing money like if there's no tomorrow. We are seeing the effects of inflation right now. Who's concerned about the energy usage there? They're not using any energy to do that? Or that has just been printed energy free? But they're not concerned about that. They're concerned about the energy uses in Bitcoin. My God.
Well, with that, I guess we're about to get to the interesting part of our show, where we wrap up with something funny. And this time it won't be funny money that we're talking about, but we're sort of tying it back to Hollywood again. And it's Gwyneth Paltrow. So, we've all been through this COVID nightmare around the world. I mean, and people have suffered all kinds of things, from whether it be family members passing away to, maybe where the government doesn't even let you see them, maybe, kids being locked out of schools and missing all kinds of rites of passage when they don't even appear to be, much at risk on things, at least as far as kids go. And, just all sorts of things, people losing jobs, businesses, everything. And it's interesting to know how Hollywood is handling the crisis. So for Gwyneth Paltrow was recently in a podcast with some of her, I guess, the other Hollywood buddies, something called the Smartless podcast. And she said, basically during quarantine, I was drinking 7 nights a week and making pasta and eating bread. I went totally off the rails. So making pasta and eating bread and drinks, 7 days a week, that's going totally off the rails. So it's good to see,
she's really suffering. She's really suffering.
Yeah. I hope there's something we can do for those Hollywood snowflakes,
well,
to rescue them from this crisis.
I mean, that sounds like your typical Italian diet. So I guess the Italians in Italy have been off the rail for a long time. Maybe it's not such a bad thing, Gwyneth. You still have a choice. It's not like I can't get fruits and veggies from the store. They're still there. So I'm not sure exactly why she had to change her diet for this, but especially considering her probable income level, even now that she's not all that in style and so on. But yeah, anyway, go ahead. What's up, Leon?
Poor Gwyneth, the pandemic came and it really destroyed her life. Oh my God, I had to eat pasta. I had to eat bread. Poor me, poor Gwyneth. Oh, I feel for her. I really feel for her. Don't worry about all the people actually suffering. Poor Gwyneth was suffering. She had to eat bread.
Bread and pasta.
She had to eat bread. I feel for her. I really do. I want to cry for her. Poor Gwyneth.
Let me hold you back now. Don't get upset. I don't want you to lose any sleep over this.
Yeah.
Well, it's just good to know that, there's so much in common between, the average blue collar person and the Hollywood elites.
Yes.
Of course.
All these people constantly going off the rails to Olive Garden.
Yes, Gwyneth is eating bread and she's making pasta. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And next time you pass an Olive Garden, stop in, try and comfort the people there, make sure they're all doing okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
They're all just off the rails.
That's a good one.
But I think we're just about at the end of our show, and so we're glad you were able to join us this week. Hopefully we won't get canceled like the Golden Globes. We'll see you the next week.
No guarantee.
But until then, stay free.
Toodle.
Bye.